Good evening to you. How good is it to be back after nearly a month out of action and a brand new game being introduced for the first time this season? We are ready to go racing as Season 5 of this extraordinary league begins, with not one, but two tiers on the menu across the next 3 3/4 months. 30 races in 112 days, and it all starts here. New faces, new teams, and new places, but still, hopefully, the same incredible racing. It's touchdown in Melbourne, Australia for the opening race of Season 5 of Next Gen by JL, and our opening action tonight comes from the new boys in the all-new Tier 2. With that, thank you very much for joining us this evening. I'm Mr. Storm, joined for the first time this season by my long-standing commentary partner and very good friend, Tim. Tim, here we go again. It's been a month since, well, nearly a month anyway, since the Golden Gear Award to round off Season 4. It's not the best turnout for T2, but I'm excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, surely. I mean, let's see how it will turn out here in Melbourne.
Well, the early signs aren't very promising. We are running 5 drivers tonight, which means that the race will probably run under half points due to we have the rule that states that if we have 6 drivers or more, then we run full points. We don't have 6 drivers tonight, so we're going to be running half points. It is light cloudy weather in Melbourne tonight, so of course we will have a completely dry weekend. We are back, and we are ready. Season 5 in T2's first ever race is about to begin. But before we get to the action, it's just about to start. I am going to run you through the runners and riders for this season in T2. We haven't filled the grid yet, that is fair to say, but we do have an assortment of names that are ready to take the championship by storm. So, of course, we start off with the teams, and there are some fantastic academies, and there are some fantastic drivers in there. We start off with Toyota F1, who are not fielding a driver tonight, but we do have Camo and Cludden racing for the Japanese outfit. BWT Lechner Racing has Liberty and Rally Ralph. Rally Ralph is racing tonight for the BWT outfit. JL Fanatec WRT, the JL name, returns to the league in Tier 2 after 4 seasons away. Litwa has left the factory T1 team, obviously ran by Exceed, to go down into T2. He is being paired with the one, the only Klimanek 32. Trackhouse Racing does not have drivers at the moment, nor does JD Motorsport. Orlan F1 is occupied by Marcus, he's the current driver at the moment. And the last team that has drivers filmed is Vimto Racing with Nico Hulkenberg. Not the real Nico Hulkenberg, but first driver out on track is Rally Ralph. The season has just begun. First qualifying session of the season. Rally Ralph is going to take you around the Albert Park circuit, and it's a brilliant track, isn't it, Tim?
Well, I love this track. I'm a big fan of it, and there's already some gravel running there for Rally Ralph. He took the rally part quite literally there.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure why he's doing that, considering it's an outlap in qualifying. But we haven't been to Australia in quite a long time. The last time we were here was the opening race of Season 2, all the way back on F123. I don't know why I'm saying all the way back on F123, but certainly in the early stages of the F123 game cycle. It's a new game, of course, a chance for everyone to prove themselves, and only with 5 drivers tonight. And I have to state, I hope it improves, but maybe these 5 drivers, potentially like the likes of Camo and Litwa, might be able to fight for the title, Tim.
Yeah, would be quite interesting to see if they manage to do so.
Well, here we go. We've got our opening lap now of the season, or of the qualifying season anyway. Rally Ralph in T2 runs very wide in towards turn number 1. Very slow exit coming out of 2, activates the DRS, and it appears he's using his overtake button instead of his hot lap button, which means that his ERS is down to a very, very poor level very early on, and that's not the best start, is it, Tim?
Yeah, not optimal for him.
Absolutely not optimal. Coming through turn number 5 at the first sector split, it's a 28.563. He still is the only car out on the track, interestingly enough. We'll hopefully see the other 4 drivers coming out very soon, but as he comes down through turn number 9 off clock, down the back straight, he comes 290 kilometers an hour. He's getting all out of sorts on the back straight here, setting a 47.725 in the middle sector. He obviously isn't very comfortable with the car, and he is very, very, very bad so far on this lap. And he's got on the grass again. Really, it's a terrible lap, Tim. And I hate to say that. into the third last corner of Ascari, then into the left-hander Stewart, and then into the final corner of Prost. Rally Ralph is slipping and sliding and really not doing himself any favours, but as he comes up to the line, it is going to be a slow lap to start his season off. It's going to be a 1 minute 23.376. Not the best start, Tim.
Yeah, that is true. It's not great.
It isn't indeed, and the other four drivers still haven't come onto the track yet, with nearly 5 minutes elapsed in the session. Also, through the course of the two streams tonight, we will have goal updates from UEFA Euro 2024. It's currently Poland 1, Austria 3. Marko Arnautovic has scored a penalty to give the Austrians a 2-goal lead with 10 minutes to go. Out comes Klimek 32 in the JL Fanatec WRT team, and of course it's been a while, as I mentioned, since we saw the JL team in this league in both T1 and 2. It's nice to see them back, isn't it?
It surely is.
And you'd like to think that they will be leading the Constructors' Championship, because they are one of the only teams that actually have two drivers, along with Toyota, BWT Lechner, and Vimto Racing.
Yes, our cars but Litwa are on track now. 3 on out lap, 1 on in lap.
And of course that field is led by Klimek. Hopefully he will be able to bring up the goods for, I suppose, it's not really Europol's sister team, but of course the JL name is associated with Europol, so maybe there is a sort of friendly relationship between the two teams.
Litwa is after all a Europol development driver, so...
Well, if you do take a look at the very snappy Inter-Europol Competition Driver Development Program, the drivers, of course, are Camo, who is racing tonight in the Toyota, and, of course, Litwa. The Above Driver Academy has Liberty and Marcus in it. The Citroen Academy has Nisseval, and the RUF Junior team has Cludden, and there are a few other drivers there in those respective academies that aren't there tonight. Here comes Klimek 32, ready to start his first qualifying lap. And once again, drivers tending to use overtake on their flying laps, which is obviously going to decrease their battery quite a lot. Why do you think drivers are choosing to do that, Tim?
I don't know, I think it might be more efficient after all.
Well, of course, if you are in hot lap mode, the battery does go down a lot slower than if you were in overtake, so I'm not sure what Rally Ralph and Klimek have been trying, but at the first sector split it is a 27 flat, and that is of course the quickest first sector of the evening so far. Razout is following him, but Klimek now racing down the back straight as he heads towards Clark, activates the DRS. He's got 30% of his battery left. And of course, battery is a big thing on this game. Middle sector split 44.937. It's the second purple sector of the evening for him in the JL Fanatec car. Of course, as I mentioned, ERS is a massive part of this game. And for drivers that have been very bad at managing their ERS, potentially on F1 22 and 23, they might struggle and through the final one activates the DRS and will come up to the line. It is going to be a lap that sends him to the top of the team sheets by oh.
Yeah,
What happened?
my internet died. Again.
Ah.
It's died in the last 2 weeks quite often.
Well, Razout was
re-invite me?
1.2... Yeah, well, Razout was 1.2 seconds slower than Klimek, but the game is saying that he's gone to the top of the timesheets. So we've already discovered a glitch. Whoop, whoop. We've already got a glitch.
I think the lobby might have been broken again because the host got...
Oh, no, we fixed it. We fixed it. Camo is up to the top of the timesheets now, 1 minute 17.792. Litwa is the only driver that hasn't set a lap time. He is on an outlet though with 10 minutes left in the session. Your order: Camo in the Toyota, Klimek in the JL Fanatec car, Razout in the Vimto car, with Rally Ralph a long way behind in fourth, and Litwa ready to start a flying run. Tim, all yours.
I haven't got a clue because I don't know what's happening yet.
Have you not loaded in?
No.
Okay, fair enough. Right, well, Litwa ready to start his flying lap.
There it
They're
is.
hurtling. Are you ready?
I've got some vision now, but...
It's not the best, is it? Well, Litwa has run very wide through turns 1 and 2 anyway. That's all you need to know so far, Tim, as he hurtles down at the second straight off the lap, coming down into turns number 3 and 4. Again, a lot of drivers using overtake on their qualifying runs, opting not to use hot lap for the entire duration of the lap. Very wide for this turn 5. Now, that's one of the more unique corner names in the Australian Grand Prix track. Of course, there are the respective corner names: Brabham, Jones, Clark, Ascari, Stewart, and Prost are all named after relatively successful Formula One drivers. But Whitefoot, I suppose, is the odd one up, or the odd one out, I should say. Litwa coming down that back straight up towards the middle sector split will set a 44.881, which is a purple middle sector, says the game. I don't think that glitch has been solved, though. So we'll see what he is able to do as he comes down towards turns number 10 and 11 into that 90-degree right-hand to third gear, 120 kilometers an hour, and then we'll flick it right once again into Ascari. Then he's coming into Stewart, sixth gear, dropping it all the way down into third, slightly wide for the penultimate corner, and then into the last turn on the track. Activates the DRS, activates overtake, will deplete all that battery. Will it be enough for provisional pole for Litwa? The answer is no, but he is close enough. 4/10. It's a decent first run, Tim.
It is a decent first run indeed.
And with that, the 5 drivers have set their immediate first runs, and your order is as such. Camo is quickest in the Toyota. He made the instinctive decision to go down to T2. He has a very good chance of winning it, of course. Klimek is second, less than 1.5 tenths behind. Litwa is third, with Razak fourth, and Rally Ralph a long, long way behind. In 5th position, 7 3/4 of a minute to go. You are watching Next Gen by JL, the opening race of Season 5 in T2. Round 1 of 15. It's a long, long calendar, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, it is quite a long calendar this season.
Yeah,
Let's
well,
see what
to
brings
be
us.
fair though, if we did do 15 race calendars, we'd probably only get 3 or 4 seasons done.
Probably something along that, yeah.
Well, Razout isn't a flying lap, and Razout had a little bit of trouble publishing his team's livery earlier on, but he did get that sorted. 9 out of the 10 T1 liveries are in, and I'm very excited for the main event of the evening. That will be coming up a little bit later on tonight. We'll be getting our coverage around 15 minutes after we finish up on T2 roughly, so we'll see what happens there. It's a 20 lap race. It is a 35% race, unlike the usual 50% Grand Prix length we would normally have in our main tier. As you can see, no rain forecast tonight, which is obviously fantastic. The Australians are, of course, in the little hours, so we're not going to disrupt them too much, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, let's see what we can talk about how anything is of course, maybe the liveries of these teams. They are
There are a lot of unique liveries in that field. There are some very good-looking cars. I have to say that the Vimto racing car is mediocre at best. It's a very odd shade of purple, I have to say, but it's unique in its own certain way. The BW2 Lechner car is a very, very good-looking vehicle. The Fanatec,
Yeah.
the JL Fanatec car is very nice, and then the Toyota car is very nice as well. But here comes Razard up to the line. Take us for it, Tim.
Let's see what he can do in that car as he slings it through turn 1 into there. Now up to the next, up to turn 3. It's quite important to get a good exit here, because it will have a lot of effect on turn 4 that again has effect on turn 5 and the whole straight view after that. Quite an important run there as he goes up by 3/10 in the first sector. Now through the fast spot, the part where there used to be a chicane there, but they removed it a couple of years ago. Let's see what he can do then.
Lost a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Razak would need a massive improvement to get onto the front of the second row. He's slightly wide, coming through 12, then into 13 in 5th gear, 230 kilometers an hour, and rising, then into the penultimate corner of Prost, and then the final turn on the track. It's not been the best lap for Razout. He was improving on the middle sector split. Will it be enough to marginally improve his time? The answer is yes, by 5.5 tenths. But he remains in 4th position. Rally Ralph is next, and well, it's fair to say that Ralph is not living up to any of the famous Ralph's names in F1. Schumacher, of course, would be the most notorious one.
Yeah.
Ralph struggled in his first run. It's fair to say that, Tim. What do you think went wrong?
I think, well, I think he went off track too much and he goes off track again.
Yeah, yeah. You can't write this stuff. I don't even think that's just commentator's curse. I think that's just him making a mistake, and he's getting very close to the wall at turn 3 there.
Yeah.
He does look like he's struggling a lot.
Yeah,
Whether this is just him
talk
being
to
quite
him.
bad at the game.
I did talk to him before the race. He's playing on controller while he used to play on wheel. So that
Okay, well that makes sense, yeah.
makes sense.
Well, to be fair, for his sake, he is 2/10 up in the first sector, and of course any bit of improvement is very good for him, but he's getting very close to the wall there and getting very close again. He's out of ERS now as he hurtles his way down the back straight. Razout is of course going to be out of the way, 4 and a bit tenths up. It's a purple middle sector on the screen anyway. It's clearly not. I don't know why it would be.
Yeah.
But Ralph would probably be the most likely contender for P5 and last tonight, would you say to him?
I want to say that doesn't make that he's obviously not up that
Yeah.
much on his time.
And of course, I don't like to see this. I don't like to see people struggle. It's very hard to watch when you know there's potential in wheel, but there's nothing on controller. It is a 5.5 tenth improvement, but he remains in 5th position, still a very, very long way off Camo. He's over 5 seconds quicker than him. Razout, interesting enough, has gone again, which is very interesting. Of course, maybe with the new ERS, you can maybe afford to take a breathing lap and then go again, but of course, with drivers using overtake, it is very difficult to know when you're going to run out of battery. Of course, it's a very big strategic game. We'll see that most likely in the race, especially in T1, because there are some drivers in that top tier that struggled with ERS before. Razout at the first sector split 2 and a bit tenths off, so I don't think that gamble has worked. A few cars out on track now. The 2 JL Fanatec cars of Klimek and Litwa are out. Camo remains in the pits with 2 minutes to go in the session.
Yeah, let's see what they can do.
Well, the last 20 pole positions at this track, there are some fantastic names on there. Michael Schumacher, Jenson Button, Kimi Räikkönen, Sebastian Vettel, Charles Leclerc, and of course Max Verstappen. The quickest pole lap time around this track was 1 minute 15.915, set by Max Verstappen just a few short months ago. No one really near beating that time. It'll be interesting to see if anyone in the top tier is able to scratch that. Currently, though, Camo would be a 10th quicker than Charles Leclerc's pole time in 2022, which is a 1 minute 17.868. Is there going to be a decent bit of teamwork between the JL cars, though, here, Tim?
I do think that could be the case here.
Well, we are going to ride on board with Litwin. We're going to see what the former T1 man is able to do. The JL name re-entered back into next gen by JL, and he starts his final flying run through turns 1 and 2. Slightly wide through 1. Might not affect him too much. He was a lot worse off coming out of those 2 corners on his first run, coming down in towards turn 3. 40% off the battery left, clips the apex well, going very wide out of the corner and clipping the apex at 4 again, coming into the flat out turn 5 and then up towards the first sector split. Will it be an improvement for Litwin the JL? The answer is yes, by 2 and a bit tenths. Coming through the fast 6, 7 and 8 complex down the back straight. He comes running out of battery very quickly indeed. As it stands, he would be going quicker than his teammate. He still needs to find a little bit more time to get onto provisional pole position. Camo will not go again, which is interesting. Lit was still improving. This time he's down though at the middle sector split. Activates his DRS once again. Camo thinks he might have done enough. We'll find out what Klimek does at the end of the lap though. Down into the 90-degree right-hander, clipping the apex very nicely indeed. Litwa doing very well on this run for sure. Through the right-hander and then down into the penultimate corner off the track. Slightly wide. He's going to maximize all the traction on the exit. But will this be enough for an opening day pole position for Litwa in the JL Fanatec WRT car? The answer is yes! What can his teammate do? Is it enough for his teammate? Yes! And the JL Fanatec WRT team have a front row start. Both drivers first and second on the grid. It's not a turn up for the books, but it's the perfect start. 9 thousandths of a second separate them. What an end to qualifying, Tim.
Yeah, that's for sure. A good job there. For Klimek, his first start and it's pole.
Qualifying order then. Only 5 drivers here. But certainly a dramatic qualifying session indeed. Klimek gaining the first ever T2 pole position by 9 thousandths of a second from his teammate Litwa. Camo is in third. He didn't go again on his second run. Razard is second behind in fourth. Rally Ralph 5 seconds behind. At the very back, we are ready to go racing. The first ever T2 race is next.
Let's see what we will see there.
It will certainly be interesting.
That is certain. I'm quite looking forward to it, if I'm gonna be real honest.
I am as well. 20 laps, 5 cars. What could possibly go wrong? Full time in the European Championships, Poland 1, Austria 3. We will have live updates and live goals. They go in, hopefully, from the Netherlands versus France game. That kicks off in an hour's time. Now, the tension builds. The realization, the talking is now mostly over, apart from us talking for the next 20 or so minutes. And we are ready to go for the formation lap, and the 2 JL cars will lead us away. Let's take a look at what tyre compound the grid is starting on. Klimek, the odd one out, he's on the hards, the rest of the field on the mediums. And that's your grid.
Yeah, that's got the grid. Yeah.
Well, 20 laps to come. Of course, we don't run 50% races in T2, we only run 35% races. But even then, it's only 9 laps shorter than what we normally would get. So maybe we are in for an falling race.
That could be likely, to be honest.
Possible race strategies, you're starting the mediums will pit around lap 9 to 16. You could be doing a 2-stop. I don't see why you would, but if there's a safety car, anything could happen. But it's the perfect start for the JL cars though, Tim.
Yeah, that's certain. And I think everyone of the team will be quite happy with that.
Indeed they will be, yeah. Just 9 thousandths of a second separated them as well, and if that pace keeps up in the race, then we might be able to see a very, very interesting inter-team battle. It's interesting to note that Camo didn't go out for his final run, whether he was trying to save a set of tyres, or whether he felt he'd done enough. If the latter option was the truth, then that backfired. But Camo is definitely another contender for race victory today. So we could see 3 of the early championship contenders spar for the first win in an all-new tier. We haven't been here in quite a long time. Truth be told, the P1 boys are going to rip up the tarmac. The T2 boys are about to etch their name into legend. Rally Ralph lines up on the grid, and we are ready to go racing. Tim, for the first time this season, we go to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights. Here we go, folks. And the T2 season is underway. It's a good start from Litwell off the front row. Litwell will drag alongside his teammate Klimek coming down into turn 1. And Litwell will have the whole shot into turn 1. Camo sees a gap and goes for it. Forces Klimek off the track. Klimek falls down to 4th position. But it is the perfect start for the pole. Litma, who is in 1st position. Camo is 2nd. Razout is in 3rd. Klimek down to 4th. Camo having a small moment coming out of turn 3. But it is the lead for one JL car.
One losing positions, the other one going and take the lead.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see what happened between Camo and Klimek in the opening stage there. Camo saw a gap up the inside of Klimek, decided to go for it and forced him wide. Maybe there will be a little investigation to that at the end of the race. Camo gaining in a straight line on Litwa will not be able to get past as they head through the fast left-right chicane. First lap of 20, the opening 4 drivers separated by around a second. Klimek will get past Razout. Razout will draw alongside him. Camo goes to the inside. Contact made. Camo's half around. And yet again, the Litwa cars, the JL cars, are in a 1-2 on the racetrack. And that's the perfect start for them. Of course, half points will be given out in this race. Litwa would currently be on 13 points. Of course, there are now 27 points up for grabs in a race weekend, because of course we got a point for pole position. Litwa leads the first lap, 19 to go. And of course the big thing is that DRS is enabled now after the first lap, so of course the JLs will be battling to see who comes out on top in this race. Tim, any thoughts in the first lap?
Quite chaotic, but nothing too crazy.
Speaking on Rally Ralph's behalf, He's not started too badly. He's only 1.1 seconds behind Razard, who
Yeah.
did struggle in qualifying. But that's very good for him, and
I
it's
mean,
good to see that he is picking up a bit of
He's
pace.
one mistake. He's keeping up just a mistake distance, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Camo will have DRS on Klimek, and Klimek is not gaining any time towards his teammates, so Camo is, of course, in the prime position to get into second position 2.5 laps into this one. Still a long way to go, of course. Pit stops will soon happen. Well, I say soon, not for a while. The pit stops will inevitably happen. Camo getting very close to Klimek, has a small lockup coming into the 90-degree right-hander. Klimek has got into DRS range, and that's very big for his chance of keeping second place, Tim.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Litwa sets the fastest lap, and it's immediately better by Klimek, and it's immediately better by Camo. Race lap record has been absolutely shattered. The current race lap record in real life, a 1 minute 19.813. Our fastest lap here tonight, a 1 minute 19.520 from Camo on the medium compound tyre. Of course, Klimek is the only driver in the field who is on the hard compound tyres. He runs slightly wide coming through turn number 4. Camo increasingly getting closer to him. And the back of that JL car in the Toyota. Litwa not pulling away though, crucially.
Yeah, that's. And Klimek is indeed closing in, and Camo is slowly but steadily also getting there.
Well, Camo is gaining on Klimek, but won't be able to make the move. Klimek gaining on Litwa also won't be able to make the move. They'll have a second bite at the cherry as they come down towards the 90-degree right-hander, obviously infamous for so many passing moves in its old form and indeed in its new one. The 2JL Fanatec WRT car is getting very, very close for comfort. Litwa, of course, does have a big say in the team. He does have a big role. He would not like it if these two came together.
Yeah, that would be quite not optimal for both teams.
Absolutely not. Well, Klimek is gaining in a straight line, and this may be the opportunity to take the lead of the race. He goes to the inside, and he regains what was once his. He started on pole position, dropped down to 4th, and now back into the lead of the race, and will have a second bite off the DRS cherry. Litwa is sticking with him, crucially enough, will not go up the inside into turn 3, as Camo gets very close as well. Big move for Klimek, though. And rallies
Again.
behind. Oh dear.
Yeah, this is gonna be a long day today.
Yeah, well, we'll keep you posted. Litwa is going around the outside of Klimek, trying to get back into the lead of the race. These two do not want to come together. Klimek, oh, they have! And Camo's involved in it too! The two JLs have crashed. Camo takes the lead. And Razo flies into second position.
Can you invite me?
Yeah, I am. I'm doing that now.
Of course. The
Oh,
1 second
dear.
of course, the 1 second the internet dies, immediately something happens.
Dear, oh dear, that is not what they wanted. Klimek down to 4th, Litwa down to 3rd. Camo leads the race by 2.3 seconds. Will any of them pit? Litwa will stay out, and so will Klimek, so it doesn't look like any damage has been sustained. Dear, oh dear, that is terrible. 4 laps gone, still a long way to go. Lap 5 of 20 in the opening T2 race off the season. Camo now leads it. After the two JLs came together, Litwa is in 3rd position and gaining on Razart. Klimek 5/10 behind him in turn. There will be words between those two surely at the end of the race. Razart is under a serious amount of pressure though from the pole in the JL car. Tim, are you back?
I am back now. And Rally Ralph is leading with a penalty on my screen.
Yeah, he does. He picked that up a few seconds
Yeah, but
before
on
you
my screen
disconnected.
he's leading. I don't think that's.
No, that's not
But
true.
on the map, yeah, now it's fixed. Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Litwa does get into second position. It is a good move that sees him back into a front row spot, if this were qualifying. It obviously isn't, but still, it's a good move from him to get into second. Klimek also gets past Razart, so not much resistance from Razart there. He concedes second and 3rd to go down to 4th, and Litwa, crucially, gaining on Camo, who's struggling to pull away a bit of a gap. Tim, what have you made of the race so far? It's been a dramatic one.
Yeah, it's been quite dramatic indeed.
Well, will the JLs work together now to try and bridge the gap to Camo? You'd like to think that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And it'd be smart. Well, Klimek is gaining. Litwa will let him past. Okay, Litwa doesn't want to repeat what happened last time. Litwa playing the team game. Now he's going to stay behind his teammate, hopefully, and try and bridge the gap to Camo in the lead of the race. Razout's still 6/10 behind him. Rally Ralph is a long, long way behind and struggling in the BWT lecture car. Camo, though, gained a lot, has a lot to lose. I have to say, the teamwork from the JLs could be very, very good, or it could be very, very bad. They haven't gained much, but they are gaining, and that's the good thing. Little of a small moment. Coming out off the right-hander. Small lock-up there from Klimek into the penultimate corner of Prost, and then out onto the final home straight. Camo starts lap 7 in the lead, and the tyres are starting to fall off as well. It's been 2 seasons since we last had a race at Albert Park. We weren't here in season 3, we weren't here in season 4. First race of season 5, just as it was in season 2. We return here, and of course the main event of the evening, T1, follows this around 15 minutes after we finish up in T2. That is, of course, the main event of the evening. Tim, are you excited for it?
Yeah. Suddenly.
A little bit. I'd say you're a little bit more excited for it than this. It's not been the best watch, but it has been fun. As the JLs, or at least one of the JLs, now back in DRS ranges, Cameron really starting to struggle now. What can Klimek do? Sliding, slipping and sliding. That rear end is like a fish out of water. Will Toyota's lead about to disappear? Another massive slide and another big lockup for Klimek. And a big slide for Litwa as well. So the front three may be all struggling with tyre wear. The pit stop phase is coming up in a few moments' time as Razout will make the first pit stop of the season. Of course, he's not really fighting for victory, and there's a very big chance he'll stay in 4th position, but these are critical moments now for Klimek, Tim.
Yeah, certainly is.
Well, what can Klimek do? Can he get past Camo in time? Rally Ralph's got another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Camo really starting to struggle now, and there might not be much he can do. He probably senses the inevitability of getting past here on this long straight as they head down the drive. Klimek will go to the outside of Camo, and before he even gets to the DRS line, will get past and will take the lead of the race. Litwa now struggling, Litwa now nowhere to be seen. Camo cedes the lead of the race to Klimek in the JL Fanatec WRT car. It's a great move though.
Yes, he is.
Almost halfway through this one. Camo with yet another massive slide. Klimek with a small lockup. He's really struggled at that corner so far. Will Litwa pit? I was thinking he would, and he has. So let's focus on that, Tim. Will he be jumped by Razout? There's a chance he could be, you never know. But the JL team will get to work, and hopefully for Litwa it is a good stop. He will go onto the white wall hard compound tyre. And he has stalled. Oh no, he hasn't. That was just a glitch on my screen. So he remains in 3rd position for now. Razout hurtling down the front straight. It's going to be very close between these two, but Litwa should just about hold on. Razout won't even get DRS, unfortunately for him. So Litwa now 20 seconds behind the main two. Camo is gaining. Dark clouds, though, approaching the circuit.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. I mean, radar said it wouldn't rain today, so I'd assume it would stay.
It won't rain, yeah. Well, Camo's doing well after getting passed by Klimek, and he will have another bite of the DRS cherry to use. Both drivers with relatively the same amount of ERS. Klimek with 35%, Camo with 22%, and of course they will harvest a little bit of energy coming through this final sector. Camo using every bit of road he can to try and get back into the lead of the race. As it stands, it's a battle between one JL car and one Toyota. Camo will pit, so Camo does come into the pits and nearly hits the wall on the inside. But in he comes into the box. Toyota will get to work. Camo will dive in and will also go on to the hard compound tyre. Will Litwa get past? This is another massive moment. It doesn't look like he will. Camo guns the throttle and is away once again. Litwa needed to be closer. He isn't, and he is a long, long way behind now. Rally Ralph has also decided to come into the box. He will also go onto the hard compound tyre. A nice feature when you're watching the game, though. At least on my PlayStation controllers, I actually get a little vibration whenever cars come into pit. But Camo, Tim, has had an amazing outlap and has gained at least 2 seconds on Klimek since he came out of the box. So will Klimek pit? You'd like to think he will. No, he stays out. Why do you think that is, Tim? Does he want to go as long in the hards as possible and then have the freshest compound to the end? Well, Tim, we're halfway through this one. Rated out of 10. Tim's died.
Well...
Oh no, he's alive.
it's just... Not too much happening other than we had some moments, but nothing like spectacular.
Major has happened.
Yeah, we had some moments, but nothing like positively spectacular, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's up to the T1 boys in the end to really excite us. Of course, we're going to have 10 drives at least for T1 tonight, with the opportunity to have 11 if Marcel comes and races. Hopefully he will. Of course, Marcel left Chevrolet to go to Europol, replacing Litwa, who's in third position. Will Klimek finally pit? He stays out. And of course, I'll just mention, if you have been watching and listening to us tonight, thank you very much for doing so. It's not been the best start to the season. And Litwa's got a penalty. That spiced things up a little bit. If he did want to win the race, he'd need to at least get 3 seconds alive with Klimek or Camo. But if you are watching us tonight, it's not been the best spectacle. But we will have the main event coming up in a few, around half an hour's time, hopefully. We'll have around 45 minutes of build-up for T1.
Yeah.
Plenty of talking, plenty of discussion. I have a lot of notes to sift through for T1. I made 10 pages of notes and I've really only touched on a few bits and pieces. Of course, T2 hasn't really led me to discover and talk about them. Klimek still hasn't pit, and he is probably going to lose the race when he does. Interestingly enough though, his race pace has been very good.
Yeah, that's true that. Really roll. It means I'm just cruising.
Yeah, I mean he's getting 5 points regardless, and that's a good start.
Yeah, I mean, he's not involved anywhere, so crashing out will be awesome.
Klimek pits. Klimek pits finally at last, and you'd like to think he'll go onto the mediums, but there is the chance he could go onto the softs, and I think he's going onto the mediums. Yeah, he is going onto the mediums. So he will go onto the yellow wall, medium compound until the end. The question is, will he be jumped by Camo on the hards? Camo has had a few great laps, and it does look like he's going to get past, and Camo will lead the Australian Grand Prix. Litwa is very close behind his teammate, might go side by side with him, and Klimek will just about stay out in front, but Litwa will then get past, so Klimek is down to third, and has a long way to go if he wants to win this race now.
Yeah, Klimek of course on the cold tires here, not that strange then that he did not he did eventually lose the position quite easily. Cold tires versus warm tires, that's easily done.
Big
But now his
difference.
tires are starting to warm up, and now he'll be all over his teammate.
Will let Klimek pass once before in this race. Will he do the same on this straight? Klimek activates the DRS in his slipstream, and really the only reasonable thing for Litwell would be to let his teammate pass. Doesn't look like there's any resistance from him, and he will let his teammate go for second place and try to get the win of the Grand Prix. I'm sure Litwell would be very much content with third position though.
Yeah, certainly will be. I mean, Rezo does need to bridge like more than a second now,
Yeah.
and he's losing pace on it right here, so doubt he'll be able to do that.
And now Camo has to defend, and Klimek is saving ERS as well. He's depleted a little bit of it on the front straight. We might be about to see the fastest lap record be shattered. It's a purple final sector for Klimek. As we start the endgame in this race, Rally Ralph has gained yet another time penalty. He's now 9 seconds. He is, well, quite a long way behind the rest of the field. He's 48 seconds now behind Camo in the Toyota. And he's picked up 9 seconds worth of penalties. If things keep going Camo's way, he might get lapped.
I doubt it get that far, because we just saw he was close to getting lapped before Klimek made his pit stop. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
He's still quite far. It's like it's like a sector away still. So.
But if he has a moment or if he spins off, then there's definitely a chance he could. Yeah.
Even if he spins off, he needs to like have a really cool thing, because spinning off doesn't lose you like 25 seconds.
Of course.
At least if you take it on a bit skillfully.
Yeah. Well, Tim, if you're Camo at the moment, what's going through your head?
Just defend.
Fair enough. Very straight to the point.
Basically, the first thing would be drive away from DRS, but there's not much shot.
Yeah, there's no chance of that happening, I don't think, because Klimek's in it, and Klimek sets the fastest lap, 6 to go. We have a new lap record, in T2 at least. And let me see, does it actually break the T1 lap record? It does, actually. That was set by Vic in Season 2 of 1 minute 20.114. Current lap record, 1 minute 19.410. So the T2 boys representing themselves well enough so far, but you'd like to think that that T2 record will be shattered in the T1 race, which will be coming up in just over an hour's time, and I really can't wait for that one. Klimek now 5/10 behind Camo and gaining. Will be able to use DRS. Will he be able to get past? He is absolutely hurtling down the back straight, and there's really nothing Camo can do. Camo defends the outside, will force Klimek to go to the inside, but he gets the move done before the chicane, and Klimek leads for JL.
Yeah, and it looks like he will take the win, because Camo is on the older tire, on the harder compound. It's not that close towards the. There's not like a lot of the race left, just 5 laps left. The Haas aren't gonna be quicker at the end of the race.
No. Klimek in a JL, followed by Camo in a Toyota, followed by the second JL off Litwa. Razat's in 4th position. Rally Ralph now 54 roughly seconds behind. Klimek sets another fast lap, gets into the 1 minute 18s. Very good for him. He's only 6/10 off the next gen pole lap record, which was set by Bottas in Season 2. That was 1 minute 18.318 as well. Of course, there has been a massive step up in the performance of the player car from F1 23 to 24, but it is nice to see that the cars are getting ever quicker by the game. So 4 and a bit laps to go. Klimek wanting to improve on his personal best, probably won't, seeing as he had DRS in the last lap. But it's been a pretty much inch-perfect drive from him, apart from the incident with his teammate. Would you be happy right now if you were Litwa, though? Because you're in a decent enough position. You're going to finish in 3rd position, though, Tim.
I honestly would be striving towards that one too, but with this 5-second time penalty, 3 seconds. I mean 3-second time penalty and 2.5 seconds being behind on on 1 lap older, but still older tires. I doubt it's got much of a chance, does it? So I think you just have to settle and wait and hope for a mistake. As you see that, look at that, he's losing more time over here now.
Well, Litwa is he's pretty much in a secured third position. Of course, he'd like to go second, but that probably isn't going to happen unless Camo has an off moment, and even then Litwood would need to gain 3 seconds if he got past him, so it is very unlikely that he will finish second. Razout's picked up a 3-second time penalty, so that probably means that Litwood is guaranteed third place in this race. So it will be a 1-3 for JL Fanatec WRT in their return to the league, this time not in T1 but in T2. Well, interestingly enough though, Tim, if you were looking at the positions of the JL, back in season 1, in the season 1 race, Litwa, interestingly enough, finished second. He was 10 seconds behind Zomzed in a race that, interestingly enough, lasted 24 minutes. Due to probably some issue that I'm not aware of. I wasn't really here back in season 1. But Litwa finished second in T1 in season 1. His teammate didn't show up, which is representative of what happens in this league sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
We will have a little bit of a stats rundown from the previous 2 races in our T1 build-up. Sure, that'll start around 10 minutes after we finish up here, so probably around 25 to 8 UK time, 25 to 9 Central European Standard Time. Of course, we'll have goal updates from the match in the Euros between the Netherlands and France. We'll see who comes out on top in that match. Of course, Mbappe is wearing a mask. Tim, who's going to win that one?
Probably France, not gonna lie. I hope not, but they're probably gonna win.
Fair enough. Well, we're into the end game stages of this race now. 2.5 laps left. Klimek is well on the way to winning this race. Rally Ralph might still get lapped. It'll be very close though, because now Klimek and Camo have actually gained a sector on Rally Ralph.
Yeah,
there is a very good chance that he will get lapped come the end of this race.
Basically, what he is actually, you were right, he is actually now just one mistake. He probably might have made a mistake, but he's one mistake away from getting that now.
Yeah. He's potentially one mistake from spinning out back onto the track and killing Klimek.
Also true. That would spice things up, but not in a
positive
way.
It would, yeah. I mean, Camo would easily win then because of Litwa's penalty, but still, it does look like Rally Ralph is just going to let him pass, which is fair enough on his behalf. He really will fight past,
he's not taking any risk. He's already letting him pass.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I respect that, and he's obviously going to let Camo pass on this straight as well. Razout pits. Razout is probably going for the fastest lap here. Or he's sustained a bit of damage, which I wouldn't be aware about. Is he going onto the softs? I think so, yeah. Yeah, he is, yeah. So Razout's going for a fast lap attempt, as Camo is now getting very close to the back of Rally Ralph. Rally Ralph has seen the blue flags. Probably won't be able to let him pass there. We'll go onto the AstroTurf, but we'll let Camo past. Rally Ralph hits the wall doing that. But a very poor race, I suppose, for him will end by being lapped potentially by the top 3 drivers. Litwa is closing on the back of him, but we are just a few moments away from heading on to the final lap of the first ever T2 race.
Yeah, as it looks, as it's gonna go Klimek's way, yes. The big question right now, to be honest, is can Razout take away the fastest lap?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. Anyway, the white flag has been shown, the final lap of 20 in the opening ever race in T2. Klimek started on pole position, beat out his teammate by 9 thousandths of a second. The 2 teammates came together, interestingly enough, and JL are now on for their first win since Gertjan. Remember that one, guys? Remember him? Won the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix at the end of season 1. He won the 3 races he participated in for the JL team and finished in 3rd in the championship, a solid 17 points behind Litwa, who contested the full season. Rally Ralph has picked up yet another time penalty, but it is the perfect return for JL, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, it looks to be going a good direction for JL. I think they'll be quite happy with this as well.
Well, they will lead the Constructors' Championship as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I were JL, I'd be happy as well, so...
I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Well, he's past the middle sector now, and Klimek is ready to put his name into the history books and to become the first ever T2 race winner. It hasn't been the smoothest of races for him, but he certainly won't mind that early collision, and as he comes out of the final corner, he becomes their first race winner in over a year. JL are back, and Klimek wins the first race of T2 in Season 5. Camo will come home in second for Toyota. Litwell will finish third in the second, JL in third position. But now the main thing is, will Razzo get the fastest lap? He's running out of battery very quickly, but he does look to be on a quick enough lap, Tim.
Yeah, it does look to be going great for him in that way.
Rally Ralph finishes a lap down after being lapped by the main men on the podium. But the answer is, will Razzo get the fastest lap? He spins, and he's nearly into the wall.
That's a no.
And around he goes. No,
Yeah.
That's a big no, yeah. Yeah. And did he reset the track? That might just be on my screen. Anyway, that was a mediocre at best race. But we have our first ever T2 result, and Klimek wins it for JL. And congratulations to him. Driver of the day goes to Klimek as well. Of course, we will have the fan vote later on to decide who takes the T2 Driver of the Day award. Here they come onto the podium now. Congratulations to Klimek, who takes the first race win of his next-gen career. A Polishman, a Swede, and another Polishman on the podium. Here's your final race results. The first ever race in T2 in Season 5. And the first race in T2 ever, Klimek takes it by 4.7 seconds after 27 minutes 13 seconds. And just about 1/10 of a second. Camo finishes in second, Litwell in third, down from second on the grid. Everyone else finished where they started, Razak in fourth. Rally Ralph a long way behind, a lap down. His fastest lap, nearly 5 seconds off Klimek. Was that fun?
It was quite a fun race, especially considering the amount of drivers that turn up there. That we eventually had. I mean, it's five. We only had 5 drivers, but it was not certain until like lap 15 who would win. So
yeah, of course that's a good thing. That's very good. That's
a
very
good
good.
thing. I quite enjoyed it, and I hope you
It
guys
is.
did as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're not going to have much of a post-race debrief in T2. In fact, we're going to have none of it because we're going to come off the air for a few minutes before we head to the main race build-up for T1, and we have a lot of talking points to dissect before the big boys. And of course, the established names take to the track for the first time this season. But in the first ever T2 race, it is Klimek who takes the victory. After a pretty dramatic race, of course, he did crash with his teammate, but he put that behind him. And after some good teamwork after from the JL boys, they take home a 1-3. Klimek leads the driver's standings, JL lead the constructor's standings. Hopefully we'll have better attendance next week. But for all of our T2 audience, hopefully you'll be watching the T1 race, and we will see you next Friday night. Same time, same place.